Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning, 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 and welcome to another Good Morning Grief Devotion. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. So grateful and thankful to have this wonderful opportunity to come to you today to lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural, normal, and the necessary response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. That grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you reveal it on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. And that's why we shout good morning, because morning is indeed a good thing. And I'm glad you're here with us on today as we lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. So glad to have y'all here on today as we lead y'all in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. Today, my brothers and sisters, I guess it would help if I downloaded the slides. I'm sorry. Here it is. Today is day 134. Thank y'all for coming back for some more. We are going to talk about I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get to say goodbye. Do me a favor. If you got an opportunity to say goodbye, put one in the chat. If you didn't get an opportunity to say goodbye, put two in the chat. If you got the opportunity to say goodbye, put one in the chat. If you didn't get the opportunity to say goodbye, put two in the chat. Put two in the chat. I wanted two, but I didn't. Two in the chat. I got one last opportunity. Put one in the chat. I wanted two, but couldn't. Put two in the chat. If you got the opportunity to say goodbye to your loved one, if you got the opportunity to say goodbye, put one. If you didn't get the opportunity, put two. We often have this discussion. I talk to people all the time like, did you get to say goodbye? Did you not get to say goodbye? Pros and cons to all of it. My father, I didn't get to say goodbye, right? Didn't get to say goodbye. It was the 3rd of December, the day I always remember. That was the day that my daddy died. Didn't show up for his barbershop appointment, went to his house. There he was, dead on the side of the bed. Didn't get to say goodbye. My sister, I did get to say goodbye. In the hospital for a week in a coma, no brainwave activity. We got to take her off the machine, all surrounded by her bedside. For that whole week, we got an opportunity to express our heart, got an opportunity to talk, got an opportunity to all that stuff, got an opportunity to say goodbye. Um, Took her off the vent, tear welled up in her eye, right? Fell down, got the opportunity to say goodbye. Would you rather see, and a lot of times, whether it's cancer or whatever the case may be, sometimes we see them in that particular state, and it's hard seeing them in that state. We get the opportunity to express our heart, right? And then there's the flip side of that, to where we don't see them suffering, but we also don't get the opportunity to have a final expression, right? And so while they were here. So if you got the opportunity, put one. If you didn't get the opportunity, put two. Devada says she had the opportunity to say goodbye. Willette said she didn't. Carmen said, yep, she did. Connie says she got to say goodbye. LaShonda got to say goodbye. Nakisha got to say goodbye. Sean Spells did not. Miss Linda did not. Miss Vaughn McCants did not. Miss Stacia got the opportunity to say goodbye. Mama said she did not get the opportunity to say goodbye. I'm looking at yours, Mom. I'm like, is you talking about Daddy? You talking about Kim? You talking about your mom? Right? Tamika said she did get the opportunity. Miss Eunice says she did not get the opportunity. I mean, she did get the opportunity. Natasha says she did not get the opportunity. Miss Thomasina says she did get the opportunity. Natasha says didn't get to say goodbye to my mama, husband, or daddy. I did for my grandma though. And that's the thank you for sharing that, Natasha. That's the focus of today's devotional. I started to do this one yesterday, and I was in a rush yesterday because I had some other stuff to do. So I said, nah, I really want to take my time with it. I don't want to rush through it. So I really want to have the opportunity to really walk through it. She said her sisters got you. Didn't get to say goodbye to her sisters. I didn't. I really wanted to have the opportunity, take my time. And so we're talking about I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't get to say goodbye. Psalm 147:3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. I know this is a point of contention, it's a point of hurt for a lot of us, right? That we didn't get the opportunity to say goodbye. We didn't get it. Um, we did not get that final. It was got the call out the blue, rush to the scene, rush to the hospital, rush wherever, and we were dealt with this circumstance, right? And not have an opportunity to do that. So what do? Let's go through this devotion. Few words carry as much ache as I didn't get to say goodbye. Whether it was sudden loss, emotional distance, or circumstances beyond your control, not having a chance to hold their hand one more time, hear their voice one more time, or say what needed to be said can leave you carrying a unique kind of grief. We're talking about a grief filled with regret, questions, and unfinished words. So many of us, because I'm in that position too, right? That's what we carry on the inside. It's a unique kind of grief, right? It's one, oftentimes it can be filled with regret, it can be filled with questions, it can be filled with unfinished words, things that I didn't get to say, things that uh, just the regret that we have. I wish I could have, heard the voice one more time. I wish I had an opportunity just to express myself one more time. They say that hearing is the last thing to go, right? That's what they say. I don't know if it's true or not. I imagine it is. And so for people that had an opportunity, even if they were, cancer, even if it was a comatose state, whatever the case may be, I got to release it. I got to say it. I pray to God they heard it. That gives people a sense of closure. But for the people that didn't, right? That the last time you talked to him, I remember last time I talked to my father, it was the night before, and he was kind of irritating me because he was giving me look, he was giving me wisdom, he was giving me his words, and he was giving me warnings, right? And told me something. I'm like, all right, man, yep, bye. Like, ugh, right? I didn't want to, and everything he said was 1,000% true. Last words are lasting words. But that was the final conversation, right? And so the next time I seen him, he had already transitioned. So what do we do with that? This kind of loss can feel like an open wound, raw and unresolved. But while you may not have but while you may not have had a final moment, but let me before I go to there, this feels like an open wound, raw and unresolved. It feels like an open wound, like I didn't get closure. This wound is raw and is unresolved. Things that I never got an opportunity to say, this, that, and the other. And then sometimes it can be compounded. Tasha said, yeah, she didn't get that opportunity to say goodbye. And it was multiple, right? No, my husband, my daddy, or my mama. So it's a raw and it's an open wound. And not only that, but it's compounded. It didn't just happen once, it happened twice. It didn't just happen twice, it happened 3 times. And this is what I want you to understand. While you may not have had the final moment, you did have meaningful moments, right? That a lot of times what we got to do is we got to reframe our thoughts, right? And because that's what we feel that and we sit in that, right? But we don't want to stew in that, right? We may sit there, but we don't want to stay there. We don't want to stew there. So how do we process? How do we process the fact that we didn't get to say goodbye? Sean Spells called me. I'll never forget that night. It was 11 something. And I was there at the scene, got there at 11 or just a little bit past midnight and stayed, didn't leave until like 6 in the morning, stayed there at the I remember, Sean, we were there together, right? So how do we deal with this? How do we process with this? How do we process this? Not having that opportunity. And I want to help you reframe your thoughts a little bit, because while you may not have had a final moment, you did have meaningful moments, right? And the thing is, we can't allow the final moments to be louder than those meaningful moments, right? We can't let the final moment, it's like having a whole book, right? We have a whole book and we let the last chapter or the last sentence, right, overrule or override the entire book, right? We can't let the final moments outweigh or be louder than the meaningful moments that we had. Moments that mattered, moments of love, laughter, tension, closeness, and shared humanity. Those moments speak louder than a final sentence ever could. I want to help you because some of us are probably still wrestling with the fact that we did. And every now and then it may come up. And every now and then it may trouble you. And every now and then it may poke you. Every now and then it may nudge you. Every now and then it may bother you. How do we process that? This is how we process that. We will not let the final moment have more weight or be louder than the meaningful moments. We have moments that mattered. We have moments of love, laughter, tension, closeness, and shared humanity. Those moments speak louder than the final sentence ever could. I always say at funerals, don't let what happened make you forget the life they lived before it happened, right? Don't let what happened be louder than the life they lived before it happened. All of those chapters. Hold on a second. My mic sounds nice. Check one. I'm not. I refuse to allow that last chapter. I won't even say as a chapter, right? That last that last page. I refuse to allow the last page to be louder than the 33 chapters that I had. I really want y'all to think about this. 33 chapters. I say it all the time, right? Of fun, food, fellowship, family. 33 chapters of minutes, moments, and monumental memories. 33 chapters of life, love, and living. Do you know how many memories, how many moments, how many minutes, right? And I refuse, whether it's a trick of the enemy, I don't know what you want to call it. I refuse to let the last page be louder than 33 years, right? I absolutely refuse. And I want to encourage you. And I know I'm not minimizing. I know it hurt. I know the fact that I didn't get close, I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't. And I get that. But don't allow that last page to be louder than the rest of the book. Don't allow that final memory be louder and override, right? All of the other monumental memories that we had. And it happens. It happens all the time. Um, you could put on your red dress, your high heels, some of that sweet perfume, and you could go out, and 99 people could tell you how fine you are, how beautiful you are, how good you look. I mean, they will tell you you ate down. They will hype you up. You'll get one person that will look at you and roll their eyes or say, you all right. And you will let the one you all right outweigh the 99 other voices, the 99 other people. You'll go on about your way and be like, what she got against me? That will let that one voice drown out the 99 other voices that affirmed us, that hyped us up, that told us, you know what I'm saying? And it's a trick of the enemy. And I don't want to I don't want you to allow that last page to override the entire book. Yeah, and I'm not just speaking from a place of, of knowledge. No, I'm a fellow journeyer. I'm on this journey with you. Been there, done that, right? We in this thing together. I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. And we got to get to the place where we don't allow that final page to be louder than the rest of the book. So what do we do? Check this out. God specializes in healing the hurt that others can't reach, including the ache of not having closure. He specializes in healing the hurt that others can't reach, including the ache of not having closure. That God knows what went unsaid. He hears the words you whisper in your heart, even now. He gathers your grief and holds it tenderly, offering peace in the places where closure will never come the way you want it. Yeah, this goes back to, I can't wait till I finish my degree and I'm able to release fully this grief model that I designed. It's so powerful and it's so impactful, and I think it's going to be powerful. But part of the model is going up to God, right? That when it comes to this grief, we got to go up. There's only certain things that God can help us with, right? There's only certain things. That's why the scripture talks about how the Lord he heals the brokenhearted and he binds up their wounds, right? We got to go upward and we got to go outward too. We got to go inward to feel what we feel. We got to go outward and get therapists and counselors, coaches, people who help us to navigate through this. But y'all don't minimize the fact that we also got to go upward. It takes all of this working together to help us to navigate through our grief. Don't minimize one at the expense of another, right? That it takes all of this to help us to navigate through the very thing that we're feeling. And when it comes to what you're feeling on the inside, God knows what was unsaid. He hears the words you whisper in your heart. Even now, he gathers your grief and holds it tenderly, offering peace in the places where closure will never come the way you want it. And remember this, that love doesn't need a perfect goodbye to remain real. The bond you shared isn't broken by absence. It lives on in memory, in legacy, and the quiet ways you carry them with you. Here's your point of application, y'all. If you're grieving without closure, take time today to write a letter to your loved one. Say what you didn't get to say. Speak your love, your sorrow, your gratitude. Then offer those words to God and trust that he receives them with grace and compassion. Today, my brothers and sisters, is day 134. Thank y'all for coming back for just a little bit more. I didn't get to say goodbye. Come on. If you got questions, comments, y'all can drop them below. I know this one was it's one of them ones, right? If you got questions or comments, I would love to hear what y'all got to say. Natasha said that's good and very true. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, Natasha. Sean says our last words earlier in that day was, I love you. Amen. Ain't that beautiful? Ain't that beautiful? Still got an opportunity in that moment, not knowing that was going to be the last words. And so even in that, right, in a roundabout way, I got an opportunity. You got an opportunity to express, right, in that moment, in a roundabout way, how you felt. That's awesome. Devada says, I used to wrestle bad with this with my dad. I didn't get to say goodbye to him, and I was not speaking to him. So I carried the weight of feeling like he died, thinking I didn't love him when I was just being stubborn. I learned never to hold grudges, especially those that are not mine to hold. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And this is the thing. There's so many lessons we learn, right, from the things that have happened and taken place. I love how how they put stuff in place. Like, if I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think an Amber Alert, when a child goes missing, I think it's named after a girl named Amber. Something happened, you know what I'm saying, with a girl named Amber. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, they always put little laws in place, Johnny's Law or Amber Alert. They do this because something happened. And now, because we don't want this to happen again, we're putting this in place, and this is what we're going to name it. Sometimes we got to do that, in our lives, right? We got to put principles and things in place in our lives. So, Divide, I don't know what your father's name was, but if just say, for instance, if it was Johnny, like the Johnny rule, right? The Johnny rule is to never hold grudges. Like you just said, I learned to never hold grudges, especially those who are not mine to hold. So we put stuff in place, right? It might be the Johnny principle, the Johnny rule, the Johnny law. Oh, I don't hold grudges based off of this because I had this moment in time in history where I did that. That was the outcome. So I lived it. Now I'm going to learn from it, right? So that I never repeat it. So I'm putting this principle in place. And yeah, I would encourage that in your own life. Whatever principles, whatever convictions, whatever you have, right, that stemmed from a situation or a person, make it that law, make it that rule for your life as an individual thing. That because of X, Y, and Z, I'm naming it this because I never want to be in this position again. I think that's good. Sean says, thank you again, Pastor, for being there for our family. Oh man, absolutely. Man, I remember like it was yesterday. Absolutely. Man, I love y'all. I kept replaying the events of the day week, trying to change the outcome in my head, at least. This gives me a new perspective. Thank you. Thank you, Natasha, for sharing that. And that's, man. And you know what? And yeah. And I think, perhaps we all do that because I did the same. I did the exact same thing. So for me, the day before, so my father was sick and he was in bed all day. I talked to him 3 times. He was sick, he was in bed all day. And I should have known because Thursday, went to dialysis. He was sick, wasn't feeling good. I had to pick him up, bring him home. Right. And then Friday, in bed all day. Right. Called him 3 times, in bed all day. So I kept replaying that afterwards. I'm like, well, was his organ shutting down? Was it all starting in? I'm like, I should have, when I picked him up from dialysis, I should have took him straight to the hospital. This is what I'm thinking, right? I kept replaying that. I should have took him to the hospital instead of taking him to McDonald's to get something to eat. He was hungry and took him home. Should have took him to the hospital. I should have called earlier. I didn't get over there until the evening time. What if I would have went over there in the morning? What if I would have called earlier? Right? We start to play the coulda, woulda, shoulda game. Right? We start to do all of that. We start to do all these mental gymnastics and torturing ourselves, right? And instead of and we sit in it. I think that's part of the process. That's you feel, you reveal, you got questions, you say that stuff, right? And I think that's just the natural part of the process. But then the ultimate question becomes, where do we land? Right? When we deal with that, when we grapple with that, when we wrestle with that, we gotta wrestle, right? We gotta wrestle. We gotta grapple. We'll play that over and over again in our head. I think that's part of the process. But ultimately, where do we land? Right? Where do we land with that? That's good, Pastor. I'm gonna use that. His name is Alan, but we called him Bim. That's what I'm talking about. See, Allen's law, right? Or the Bim rule, the Bim principle, right? Whatever it is. Oh yeah, that's the Bim principle, named after Amber. Now, Miss Connie gonna find the facts at the end of the day. Miss Connie, if y'all need, she's the investigator. I think you should have been a sheriff or FBI agent, Miss Connie, because you're gonna find the facts. Amber Hagerman, she was abducted in Texas, and from that we get the Amber Alert, right? And so we get the Allen alert or the BIM alert or whatever you want to call it, right? I love it. Yep, we do the coulda, woulda, shoulda often. I'm gonna have to do a devotion on that. When the coulda, woulda, shoulda, how to handle the coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? How to handle that because it's real. We start to replay that stuff in our mind and we torture ourselves, right? And I think again, we wrestle. That's okay. Wrestle, ask the questions, process it, wrestle it, right? And even though we may stop there, we don't stay there. And I think that's what's important because we are going to wrestle. We're going to ask those questions. We're going to go through the coulda, woulda, shoulda. And though we stop there, we don't stay there. The problem is when we stop there, we stay there, and then we stew there. We start to stew, right? Nah, stop there. Don't stay there. Wrestle, grapple, right? Ask. That's the bargaining. That's the one of the you know, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross in her grief model, she talks about, denial. Then she talks about, anger. Then she talks about bargaining. We start to bargain. That's the coulda, woulda, shoulda. I shoulda, if I just woulda, if I coulda. We start to bargain. We start to reason. We start to, yeah, that's part of it. Stop there, but we're not going to stay there, right? And I think that's important. Man, great dialogue. I knew it. I said, yeah, I can't rush this. We gotta slow walk this. I'm gonna post this devotion on Facebook in written form. For those of y'all who want to go and share it, because I know it's gonna help somebody else. And even if you want to share the video, you can go to YouTube and grab this video and share it as well. I think it's share worthy just because so many people are in this position. And so many people may be wrestling with this. So share the love, share the wealth, let them know um, how to process this. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all with the love of the Lord. Y'all hang in there. We're going to continue to make it. We are going to continue to make it. We're going to continue to move forward. We are going to continue to navigate through this thing called grief. And I appreciate y'all. And I love y'all. I hope and pray that y'all have a wonderful Wednesday in Jesus' name. Let's